Hello and welcome to A Day with the Car Driver, our amazing, wonderful, incredible podcast. And it's partly wonderful because I have Day here with me.
It's not wonderful because I have Scamp here with me.
You just insult me?
I did on your own podcast even. Gosh.
And there was me being...
I came here to laugh at you.
Oh, okay. Is there a Gundam this season?
Yes, actually there is. Gundam Build Fighters.
Oh, right, there is.
It's just, it's a little further away from the mainline type Gundam
Yeah,
stuff.
it's a very different type of Gundam, isn't it?
This is basically what if...
Wait, first of all, this is the fall 2013 season.
Which was a great season. Wow, I'm joking. I just, I liked stuff this season that other people didn't like, so...
True.
Gundam Build Fighters is... Well, it's basically what if Gundam and Clamp got together, in the sense that it's Angelic Layer, but with Gundams.
I guess so. I'm more compared to... Angelic Layer is definitely more...
To me, Angelic Layer is the most obvious.
Yes.
Although, at this point, I'm not sure how many people have actually seen or read that.
Or even heard of.
Yeah, it's one of the lesser-known Clamps.
Yes.
It's fine. It's perfectly fine.
I think more kids nowadays would probably get the Yu-Gi-Oh comparison.
But I disagree with that.
Okay.
Because in Yu-Gi-Oh, you don't actually have the physical things. It's just they come out of your card. That's why I would disagree.
Okay.
Maybe you could say it's sort of like Beyblade, if the Beyblades were...
Yeah, were...
Robots.
Robots, yes.
Yeah.
I knew a lot of people... This was a fairly well-received show.
Yeah, people dug it.
And it got multiple seasons as well.
Well, it also, if I'm not mistaken, it did exactly what it was supposed to, which was increase Gunpla sales.
Yes. Probably one of the most successful... Gundam's actually had a reasonably okay decade.
Yeah, and to say... Comparing this success-wise is difficult because it didn't really sell that much.
It's operating on a different plane.
But that wasn't the point of it in the first place, so it doesn't really matter that it didn't sell as much.
Yeah.
We've gotten a few sequels. Actually, aren't they making another Gundam Build Fighters spin-off in the near future?
I think they even made one recently. Yeah.
Well, anyway. Yeah, people dug it. I watched 6 or 7 episodes. I really didn't like it.
Yeah, same here.
It's not really my kind of show.
It's probably sneakily the most successful show this season.
Oh, let's see. Looking over, if we're talking TV series, yeah. If you consider that it had ratings that were sufficient to land it in the top 20 shows every week.
Yeah.
Of all shows. So live action, all sorts of Japanese television programming, this was landing in the top 20.
Yeah.
Then yeah, I'd say so, because I don't think anything else comes close to that.
Yeah, I'm not sure it made much of a hit in the West. I'm not sure. I don't know, was it even licensed?
Respectably.
Was it licensed?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think it ran on Crunchyroll, didn't it?
Yeah, but it was never towards the top. So definitely the biggest show you're talking about visibility in the West, though.
Oh, yeah.
I think that would have to be Kill la Kill.
It did well in Japan, too, didn't it?
Yeah. So Kill la Kill was the first TV show by the new Studio Trigger and the new work by the director of Panty and Stocking and Gurren Lagann, Hiroyuki Imaishi.
Yes.
It was very dramatic. It was very clear from the very first announcement and the trailers and stuff that this was his next big thing. And then it comes out and it is kind of every bit as ridiculous as you've come to expect from Imaishi. You haven't actually seen it, no, have you?
No, I haven't. It's worth keeping in mind that I didn't actually like most of Gainax's output. And Trigger is, to me, if anything, it's the stuff that Gainax did that I never really dug turned up to 11.
Yeah.
With some exceptions,
Little Witch Academia is it feels like it shouldn't be in...
Or, Kisniver isn't much like that. I didn't like Kisniver either, though, but...
Yeah, anyway, for different reasons.
I had a lot of reasons to not bother watching this, so I didn't.
But yeah, it is a highly ridiculous, very over-the-top God, I didn't even know what it's like. Girl goes to school, and then the school is ruled over in the most dramatic fashion is by.
Fashion is the right word,
Fashion,
isn't it?
yeah. It's the world run by fashion. It's the world's greatest mother ever. A mom on the same level of terribleness as like puts Gendo Ikari to shame. She's amazing, and every time she appears on screen with her big rainbow hair, and she is very very gay rights obviously, and then the music starts playing and it's got such a dramatic, over exaggerated animation style as well. And then there's like when you start explaining things about the show, you realize, I mean, you knew it at the time, but it gets even more ridiculous when you explain to someone things like how there's a terrorist, they're terrorists, but they're the good guys in this sense. Organization.
I think that what you mean is
Freedom.
one man's terrorist is another man's freedom fighter.
Called Nudist Beach, who go around naked because clothes are the ultimate evil. And they wear utility belts and that's it. And they throw bombs at things and shit. And the teacher is part of that, which means every time he reveals that he's part of this, he must strip down. And does it in the most dramatic, like, da-da-da pose. And
So he's doing striptease.
yes.
Well, actually, he's just stripping, I guess.
He's just stripping sexily, which is a striptease, I guess. And there's the fact that, like, I'm going to transform into an amazing outfit and it's some fucking string bikini is, like, the thing they fight in, which gives them the world's largest wedgies. And, because I remember at the start thinking, like, I don't know, this seems kind of, like, exploitative of these women. And then the more the show went on, it's like, actually just exploitative of everyone, which I guess makes it...
Having said that, I don't know that I would turn to Trigger for...
No, I'm not going to argue that.
In fact, wasn't there at least one incident involving an English-speaking member of Trigger who basically was like, the SJWs all over Twitter?
Oh, possibly.
Because they were talking to Western anime fans who were themselves like, feminazis. So, anyway, Trigger's not really who I'm going to look to for nuanced representations of women.
No, it was more like I was kind of uncomfortable with the way they were treating some of the characters, and then I realized they treated everyone like that, and I sort of got more back on board with it. It is absurd. It's not particularly deep, and I think if you try to pretend it's deep or is trying to be a criticism of fan service, which I know some people try to argue, it's not. It's just the creators are just wacky nonsense idiots like that.
Kill la Kill is the sort of show that so I had Love Live keychains on my work bag. Yep, I bring that to work, folks. I also drink out of my Pop Team Epic cup during my shifts.
Yeah.
And I had gone for a dental appointment, and one of the technicians saw the Love Live keychain. She's like, "Oh, have you seen? Oh, you like anime? Oh, you should check out Kill la Kill." And I'm looking at this kid, I'm like, "Oh, child, you have no idea."
Of all the shows to recommend someone as well, it's like...
Also, yeah, that's kind of a weird recommendation for someone you don't even know.
Very anime.
But, I did recommend Kakegurui to one of my colleagues.
Even Kakegurui doesn't compare to Kill la Kill. Very little compares to Kill la Kill.
Kakegurui is pretty out there, though.
It's like, while Kill la Kill is very Imaishi and very Trigger, I don't think there's anything else like it, really. It is still quite unique in its style, its way it treats its subject matter. It is so much.
Yeah, I'll watch it someday, one of these days.
I'm not sure you'd like it, to be honest.
Yeah, I don't know, but I haven't seen it, so.
And apparently the only thing you know from it is this one AMV you watched.
Oh God, for that song that's insidious. I can't remember the name of the song.
It's the one, Talk Dirty to Me.
Yeah, that one.
But it's an AMV.
That song is so catchy, it's awful.
So you're the girl in that show.
It's a sleazy shit. That song's really sleazy too, and it's also a bit racist.
Yes. The girl in that show who has the big who's head of the marching band, and she does all these attacks, which has all her entire marching band behind her. So it's all that marching band playing the music while the trumpets in Talk Dirty to Me start playing.
It's actually, I hate how good it is. You should look it up. But if we want to talk stuff that, having its own style and doing its own thing,
Oh, wow, yes.
Well, oh God. Do you know which one I was going to mention?
I'm assuming you were going to say the third one on this list.
Okay, yes, but it did occur to me that the fourth one also somewhat fits it.
Well, the third one more
Kyousogiga.
Kyousogiga. So there was a couple of OVAs and stuff before this came out.
Yeah, there were a couple of... There was like there was a single episode thing, and then there was one that was, I don't know, like 4 or 5, 6 episodes. But this was when they made it. This was a TV series. This is from Toei. They gave, because it's Ria Matsumoto, isn't it?
Yes.
They gave her way more room to maneuver than is typically the case with Toei. Toei tends to be very controlling of whatever properties it's putting out.
It was basically off the back of her success with Heartcatch.
Yeah.
So they gave her, like, just do whatever you want. We'll give you complete freedom.
Yeah. It's, it's a story ultimately that's about family and the nature of family. And it involves a few siblings who are, their parents are gods who, well, one of their parents is a god and the other one is a rabbit. And they, I know they got into trouble because they did something they weren't supposed to. They basically decided to break out of what they were supposed to be doing, to be together and to have this family. But it also means that they end up being punished and they disappear for a while. And the show then is about the siblings and them trying to cope with the fact that their parents have disappeared and also trying to,
Also trying to find their place in the society they're currently in.
Yeah, because they do a few... Well, some of them more than others are pretty obviously, they wouldn't fit into what would say human society. Because they're very clearly not human. And some of them do present as much more human, so they have a little bit of an easier time of it, but... And the siblings have issues with each other that are born out of their own differences and the fact that some can pass better than others as human. It's got a lot of abstract stuff going on in it. It's the sort of show that at the beginning it's really not clear at all what's going on.
Yes.
And it moves back and forth in time to tell its story. I really, really liked it.
This is... So I put out a tweet like a few years ago now, asking people like, so what's your favorite anime of the decade? Just tell me. And this may have been like the second or third most picked. I don't remember what the full list was, but it was like this and like From the New World and Madoka were like some of the most popular responses at the time. Must have been 2016 because it was pre Made in Abyss. I know that much. But yeah, that's just to give you an idea. Like the people who like Kyousogiga, it is their favorite anime of all time kind of thing.
I mean, I really like it. I wouldn't say it's my favorite of all time.
But it would be in your list of favorite anime of the decade.
It might. Yeah. I would like to go back and rewatch it before I made a list like that, though. It's 12 episodes, so it's not like it's too difficult to get your way through it. Yeah, I really like it. Also, to me, it made me wish that Toei let their creators off the leash a bit more often.
Yeah.
You know, I'm sure that other stuff maybe wouldn't be as good. It's the sort of thing, it's good enough that it might be the best thing that sort of effort would come up with, just because, let's face it, 90% of everything is crap.
But also, not everyone is Rie Matsumoto.
Yeah, that's true.
It was clear very early on that she had incredible talent.
Yeah. But it does make me wish they'd let their creators off the leash a little bit more frequently.
Yeah. I can see that.
Because, well, to give you an idea of how controlling Toei is, we are actually right now, so Sailor Moon, Sailor Stars, the release from Viz for Region 1 was put out, and there's a fair bit of controversy because Toei made them change a relationship chart to say that two of the characters are friends. They're not. They're lesbians. Yes. They're lovers. They're girlfriends. They're not...
They are worthy of each other's grace.
Yeah, thank you. Oh my god. Anyway, my point being, Toei is pretty controlling.
Yeah. Actually, do you know what? Can I continue on the theme of like, because we've gone from Imaishi to Rie Matsumoto. Let's
Okay.
continue the theme of like really notable directors with the Tale of Princess Kaguya.
But we haven't watched it yet.
No.
We do have the
Shit.
DVD.
We haven't, have we? We kept meaning to.
We kept meaning to.
This is the final anime by the co-founder of Studio Ghibli, whose name I've forgotten.
How could you forget?
It's Miyazaki Part 2. It's not Miyazaki.
Oh my god, I think a lot of people would be upset if you called him Miyazaki Part 2.
Because he's not really like Miyazaki.
Well,
he's not Miyazaki. What's his name?
no one else is Miyazaki if you think about it.
Yeah.
Well, no, I mean in the way that he's... Miyazaki is a singular force.
Yes. What is his name?
I can't think of it because I actually prefer Miyazaki's stuff.
So do I.
Oh, you do? For
Yeah.
some reason, I didn't think you did.
Hayao Miyazaki? Yeah. I don't like every Ghibli movie, but like my favorite ones are, well, actually, secretly my favorite ones are by the new guy who no one else likes. But I like Miyazaki's
The guy
movies.
that no one else likes.
The guy who did Arrietty and
Oh.
yeah, who's
Not... Okay, let's be real. Who's
Not-
the one no one liked? It was Miyazaki's son.
Miyazaki Jr. Isao Takahata.
Oh god, how could I forget
Yeah.
a name like Takahata?
Yes, so Takahata, it was his last.
Didn't he do, I think he actually did my favorite Ghibli.
Only
Yesterday,
Yes,
yeah.
he did.
But on the whole, I prefer Miyazaki.
Yeah, I'm with you on that.
We haven't seen this yet. Wow, we're awful. We have the DVD and we've had it for a long time too.
There is no way we're going to reach the season with Night, because we've been sitting staring at Night's short walk on girl.
Yeah,
For
it's
what?
underneath one of the speakers for the computer.
Yes. But yeah, this was his last movie before he passed away. Mm-hmm. And Ghibli,
Critically acclaimed.
yeah, very unique art style.
Critically acclaimed in the West among audiences who don't usually watch anime
Yes.
too.
I'm not sure how much actual anime fans cared about it. I know a lot of them watched it, but
You know, the people I know who watched it really loved it. Who were anime fans. I don't think it was a mega hit among anime fans, but I also think it's been a long time since that's been true of any Ghibli movies, unfortunately.
yeah, the last Ghibli movie that was a hit amongst anime fans would be Howl's Moving Castle, I would assume.
Howl's Moving Castle was just a hit anyway.
Yeah, but like anime fans really watched Howl's Moving Castle.
Yeah.
Yeah, whereas I don't think, like, they didn't watch Arrietty, they didn't really watch Ponyo. I think they watched Ponyo.
So Ponyo did get a wide release though because I saw it in a movie theater in my relatively small college town.
But yeah, I think it got a wide movie release and then it
Also,
didn't
you
turn
know
out
what
to
too?
be
Ponyo, if you look at the cast that they used to dub it, that's kind of the giveaway.
Big
that they
names.
were expecting it to be a big thing.
and then it wasn't a particularly memorable movie.
Yeah, it's fine. It's just it's definitely a lesser Ghibli.
Yeah.
But yeah, Princess Kaguya.
Actually, if I want to sneak in another director, is the Patema Inverse director. Is actually he's not very well known, but he's the guy who did Time of Eve, and he's a guy I'm a big fan of, and I was really excited about this movie, and it just lacks a certain something, a certain meat. It's like the premise is great. It's like, imagine there are two societies that live, but like the gravity operates in different directions for each of them. So like one of the girls falls down to their world, and she has to stand on the ceiling, you know, and like she'll stare out the door and just see sky continue on forever below her. It's kind of terrifying. Which is like super, and there's like, you know, two different civilizations coming together, etc.
Yeah.
It's all good, but like the writing's not very good.
Oh, well.
And the story's kind of forgettable apart from that. But fantastic imagery, but...
Well, I guess if we're going to be talking, if we're just going to keep on going with this director thing.
Yeah.
The final Madoka Magica movie.
Oh, yes. This is the final one.
Who'd you think I was going to go with next?
I wasn't sure. That's why I was looking
Yeah, Madoka Magica, the final movie. Wasn't it called Rebellion or something like that?
Was this...
Massively divisive.
Yeah, I haven't seen it. I feel terrible as a big Madoka fan. I haven't seen it. I think it's because it was divisive I was wary. I didn't want my Madoka opinions to be tainted.
As far as I'm aware, it diverges very sharply with the TV series.
Yes.
And that upset a lot of people.
I do know there are a lot of people who also really like it, though.
Yeah.
So when we say divisive, we don't just mean like people... Like there were people
Basically, there's really no one in the middle.
No.
As someone who... So I did not like Madoka Magica on the whole. I really liked its final frame and the way it wrapped things up.
Yes.
So I suspect I probably would not like this movie.
Yeah.
Because at this point, I pretty much know the ways in which it diverges. Not
I don't.
Totally, but... I mean, the movie did come out 5 years ago.
I know, I need to watch.
I'm not going to spoil it for you, don't worry.
Thanks, dear.
But God, figures alone are spoilers for it.
I mean, I know,
Yeah.
I've seen outfits and stuff, but yeah.
But yeah, God, there's a decent number of stuff here that we're going, yeah, well, this was like kind of important, but we never watched it. Well,
we should probably cover things that we did watch.
Well, so I was going to go off of Kyousogiga originally into Samurai Flamenco.
Oh, gosh.
Okay. Samurai Flamenco is a strange show that the way it starts out, it looks very different than where it ended up. I guess is the best way to put it. So Samurai Flamenco's premise is that there is this guy who is basically an idol. He's a talent.
Yes.
And he has his manager, but he always as a kid loved Super Sentai shows. He really into them. And it turns out that at night he has been moonlighting as a hero. But of course he has no powers, so it's not super successful. Anyway, he meets a cop. And the cop is like, wait a minute, what the hell is wrong with this person? And they become friendly. And things are kind of normal, and then they're absolutely not. It keeps going along with this... Well, it's kind of a buddy cop show for a bit.
Yeah.
Sort of. And then suddenly, about, what was it? Episode 7? Suddenly, there's something called Guillotine Gorilla.
Yes.
And people get their heads chopped off, and this comes out of nowhere.
That's putting it lightly.
I remember the scene very well because I remember watching it, and you're like, okay, you got some more of this stuff going on, and then suddenly 2 people's heads get cut off, and it's like, wait, what?
That's the thing, though. Like, nothing I've ever seen has ever compared to the reaction Guillotine Gorilla got.
Yeah.
Just the amount of people was just like, on Twitter would type afterwards, just a big long string of A's of what was that? Because it was a really down-to-earth show before that. Like, silly, but down-to-earth and
then it suddenly got really grim.
But
then it lightened up a bit.
But they got like mad, like, it was a gorilla with popped in like evil gorilla with a guillotine in his chest, chopped off 2 people's heads and then ran away, and then Lord Evil of Thunder floated in the air and said, I shall destroy you, Samurai Flamenco, and then floated off in a magical explosion. And you're like
you know what?
For several episodes.
That turn reminded me of Sambot 3.
I mean, yeah, that must be, like, I would say jump the shark for me.
Well, I mean, but not like not the way it... Yeah. When I say it reminded me of Sambot 3, I don't mean Sambot 3 had a similar turn. I mean that type of material was...
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it was, to use the word again, divisive. Some people jumped ship after that.
I did.
I watched for a little bit longer. Oh, yeah, so there's this idol group of 3 girls, and one of them, she's a big Magical Girl fan. She's a lot more successful than our dear little hero is.
Because she has money.
So, like, she uses a Hummer.
Yes.
To take out some of her enemies. And I want to say it's like either pink or silver or something. It's ridiculous. And she has a Magical Girl wand that she just like bashes people's faces in with.
Yes.
Anyway, she ends up getting tortured. We say that this went kind of grim. We do mean it. It went all over the place. Because from there, it skipped around a few other genre. And then like it ends. And there's this twist about the cop that is... mind-blowing. It's pretty weird.
The whole show is.
And yeah, it's also kind of a bit gay.
Yeah, he confesses his love to him.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's gay.
Yeah.
But it's also just one of the many strange... No, I mean, that's not strange, but you know what I mean? Like,
well, the way in which it happens is kind of strange.
The whole show is just... This was the Noitamina show this season. Noitamina.
This was one of the Noitamina.
Because Noitamina was on some weird trip round about now.
Yeah, Galilei Donna was the other one.
Oh, God.
A lot of people hate this show and think it's terrible. I really enjoyed it while also acknowledging This was another show that got kind of weird, not as extreme as Samurai Flamenco. It starts out and it's in this sci-fi type world, and there's 3 sisters, and they keep getting berated with, "You're the descendants of Galileo, and so you should do better."
For some reason, I forgot that was a detail.
Okay, folks, can I just point out, so first of all, there probably aren't any descendants of Galileo anymore, because
He didn't have any children, I thought.
he did.
Oh.
His daughters got shut up in convents, and I don't think there's no indication his son had a kid. So there are probably no descendants of Galileo. But if there were,
We would
this is a future type world. Yeah, okay, there'd probably be hundreds of thousands of people who are related to him, so it's really not that special.
If Galilei had descendants, we would be descendants of Galileo.
Well, maybe not. Not this close.
Okay.
Because this takes place like some vaguely defined future.
Yeah.
Anyway, the point is, it's not special. Either there are none, or there's hundreds of thousands. And their parents, I forget what happens, they end up on the run from basically space pirates. And I really liked the sisters and their interrelationships. And there's a woman who helps them who's hot, so yeah, I liked her too. And their spaceship is actually built by the youngest sister, who's really into building stuff. And it's shaped like a goldfish, and it's AI, it's a fish. Anyway, it's not great. It ends inexplicably in a courtroom scene. I liked it a lot.
And then with its sequel, Wizard Barristers.
Ha ha ha. Yeah, because this was by, what's his face there? He did Kite.
The ones that were like porn.
He did Kite. He
Mezzoforte.
did Mezzoforte.
Yes.
He did some other stuff. He did the ending theme for Kokoku.
Yes.
I can't think of its name. But, yeah, I liked it. I know a lot of people didn't. And there definitely is some really stupid stuff that happens in it. Like someone ends up with a fever after falling off a building.
Oh god, I forgot about that.
Yeah. Whatever.
I was like, oh, fell off a building. Oh, did I injure my legs? No, I have a cold. I have to put a thing on my forehead. Oh god, I'd forgotten about that. That's why I stopped watching the show. That was amazing.
Anyway, I liked it.
Oh god, I'm so glad you reminded me of that.
Everything else we have to mention is stuff.
You watch Nagiasu.
Oh, that's right.
Yes. Nagi no Asakura.
Or A Lull in the Sea. This is a show that was a pretty darn good 13-episode show that inexplicably was, I think, 26 episodes.
Am I going crazy? Is this a Mario Okada joint?
Yes. This was PA Works, and it was Okada.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the first half of the show I really enjoyed. So it takes place in a world where you have your normal society on the land, and then you have...
mermaids.
Yeah, but they don't have fish tails. They just have some scales and such, and they live underwater. And it's these kids they're being sent to a school on the surface, basically because there aren't enough kids in their society anymore for them to go to school in their own society. And it's a pretty decent show. There's like weird stuff happening environmentally across the course of the show. The first half of the show, it's a lot about the kids, interacting with kids on the land and having to get used to the differences, that kind of thing. You find out that the lead boy, his sister, she ends up deciding to marry someone who's on the land, and there's a lot of angst about that in the sea-based community, because the sea-based community, it's getting smaller and smaller, and there's a lot of, you have a lot of older characters who are like, the kids these days, and they have no loyalty to our community, and those people on the land, they'll never, be your friends, they're just pretending, and the kids end up, they're kids, so it's hormones, and everybody has crushes, and they have crushes on the same people, so there's some angst along those lines, and but the first half of the show, it's solid. It's a solid story about people from different cultures who are now coming into contact. The second half of the show, there's a time skip. And it takes place after the whole world has basically gone into an ice age. And the sea people all went into hibernation. They're like, fuck this, we're gonna sleep through this shit. And the people on land, but some of the kids got stuck on land. They didn't make it back in time before they did this hibernation. And now, I forget what exactly happens. I think it's starting to thaw or something. So they end up back in contact again with the ones who ended up hibernating, but the ones who hibernated didn't grow at all. So now we have this mismatch going on too, where some of the kids have now been living on land for 5 years. Some of the kids haven't grown at all in 5 years. And there's a bunch of sci-fi stuff, and it's not very good.
Oh.
There's some interesting stuff in that. Okay, how does having been separated for this time and the fact that some people haven't grown at all, aged at all, how does that impact interrelationships that existed before the time skip? But it's just, I don't know. I didn't think it was very good. I felt like the storytelling wasn't as strong.
Oh well.
Yeah.
Most of the rest of the shows this season are stuff that neither of us have seen, and therefore...
Or we saw only a little.
Yeah, so there's we have relatively little... Even though some of these are quite big, Log Horizon was pretty big at the time. A lot of people watched it.
The light novels are still being published in the West, and I know they've done well enough that they are... So there's a magazine-ish from Yen Press, which is a U.S. publisher, Yen On, and that's, it's basically like Shonen Jump, but it's their own, where they've bundled different series that they're running together, where it's simulpubbing. And I know that this is the only Yen On title that is still getting a physical release. So I'd say it's doing okay.
The most notable thing about it, apart from it being one of the first proper follow-ons from Sword Art Online, that was less wish fulfill power fantasy and more video games.
Yeah, I think I would class it as being a little more in the dot hack thread of trapped in a video game
rather than
or
isekai.
Spending time in a video game.
Rather than isekai, basically. It's not an isekai, really, is it? Because I think they're just playing a video game.
Yeah. I guess, too, just in terms of...
Tone.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good way of putting it.
Has a good OP.
Yes, it's Man with a Mission, isn't it?
Yes.
The ones who did Raise Your Flag.
This one is Database, which if anyone has heard the show, and it's the one thing anyone who watched the show will remember is the database. Anyway. I know a lot of people who are really into non-Biori. Really, really, really into non-Biori.
I'm sure it's fine. I've just never watched it because it isn't really my sort of show.
Yeah.
That's all that I have to say about that.
Cute girls in the countryside.
Yeah. Then we have some light novel adaptations.
Yes.
But these are not isekai ones.
No.
We have Beyond the Boundary, which actually I think came out of one of Kyoto Animation's novel contests, which, when you get down to it, are just authors of their own, basically, competing. It's not really good. It's pretty bland. There's some interesting visual moments, but that's about it. Oh, you know what? The ending theme is great.
It has very good animation. I do remember that.
Yeah. And it's about, there's a girl and she can use her blood to fight. And there's a boy who can't die.
Cool.
I dropped it because it was really gross.
Yeah, it was quite...
There's a lot of sexual harassment that is played as comedy. Aha. Yeah.
Anyway.
It was really gross. I hated it.
Golden Time was by the author of Toradora. So it was kind of set to be a big hit, and then wasn't.
I think it did respectably, but it certainly was not on level with Toradora. And I think, too, that a lot of people were kind of disappointed because it was not really what they were hoping for.
It wasn't written very well.
It also... So, it's a rom-com in which the lead has decided to go to Tokyo to go to university, basically to get away from this girl who's really into him. And she's rich, so she can kind of do what she wants without much consequence. And then she shows up at the school.
Oh.
And I'm pretty sure she slaps him with a bouquet of flowers a few times. And I think people who came into it expecting something like Toradora, Taiga and Toradora can be a bit aggressive and difficult to deal with, but the one in Golden Time was on a whole other level. And in Toradora, Taiga could be difficult to deal with, but she wasn't around stalking people or insisting that they accept her affections, which is the case in Golden Time.
I also remember it having quite poor production value.
Yeah, it looked pretty bad.
Yeah.
If it was the sort of show that visually, I would have, if I didn't know anything, I'd probably think it was older than it was.
Yeah.
I think one of the OPs was okay, but I don't remember.
Don't remember.
Yeah, I watched a few episodes. Also, the lead was really, he was that stereotypical, milquetoast type lead.
Yuji every lead.
Yeah, yes. But different than Yuji from Toradora, didn't really have any personality. Whereas I'd say Yuji and Toradora, he definitely had personality.
Yeah.
And characterization.
I don't like Toradora much, but I'll grant you that.
Yeah. Let's see. Oh, gosh, there's Outbreak Company.
Oh, yeah. By the author of Scrapped Princess.
Yes. This did decently at the time. I knew people who really dug it.
It's an amusing idea.
There's a cute elf girl.
It's portal opens to another world.
You know what? It's basically, what if Gate, but not as, colonialist, military-esque.
Yeah. So it's portal opens to another. It's the other side of Gate, which is to say, Gate and Stripe and Outbreak Company, because Gate comes out later. We'll talk about that when it comes out. But both of them are about portal opens to a fantasy world. People go through it, and in Gate it's like, well, they attacked us. We're going to send our military through. In Outbreak Company, it is, well, we need to connect with these people, so we need to send cultural ambassadors over. And the cultural ambassador comes over and shows them anime. And the princess of this land, this cute little elf girl, turns out she's an otaku.
Yeah.
And gets really into anime.
I found it pretty boring, but I will absolutely grant that it is an absolutely much better natured approach to cultural meetings.
Yes.
I guess is how I would put it. First encounter stories. That's, I think, the actual term for it.
Then Gate. Yes.
Oh God, absolutely. Yeah. Then Gate.
I could say a lot about Gate, but one of the things I would say is that it's actually really, really well made. But we'll talk about Gate when it comes out. Sorry, I shouldn't talk about Gate.
Yeah, don't talk about Gate yet. I don't think we need to talk about more than is necessary. God, there's a lot of other stuff too.
I kind of want to skip. Didn't you see Tokyo Ravens?
I saw a few episodes. It's very bland supernatural stuff.
Yeah, that was my impression of it as well.
There's White Album 2. White Album, the original, was an adaptation of a visual novel.
Yes.
That was from the 90s.
Yeah.
And was it was one of those visual novels that had a bit of a following. And they finally made an adaptation of it in, I don't know, like the late 2000s.
But I think even the fans of White Album said that White Album 2 was better.
Generally speaking, White Album 2... I think people just liked it a lot more in general.
Yeah.
Like, if you were going to watch a White Album, this was the one to watch.
Yeah, you don't even watch season 1.
Yeah, it's in a completely different story with different characters. There's some similar plot beats, but that's about it. I would say the difference, too, is that White Album 2 is a nicer story with nicer people. It doesn't do anything especially new. It's a story about a few teens who get into a love triangle, and it doesn't do anything. But I really enjoyed it. It just, I don't know, it was sincere in its storytelling. The characters, they're all kids that you look at and you think, oh, these are decent kids. I hope things work out for them. Okay. And you know that it can't work out perfectly for all of them just because of the nature of love triangles, but... Another nice thing, too, is that the would-be romantic rivals are decent to each other.
Yeah.
And I realize some people really enjoy conflict, but I really don't enjoy watching
You're making it sound a lot like True Tears.
Oh, I guess.
Yeah.
Less mawkish.
I think the people who like True Tears also like White Album too.
Probably.
Yeah. I know you have a lot of feelings on Yowamushi Pedal.
Man, Yowamushi Pedal, is that like the current well, maybe not so the current generation. To me, it was sort of like Hitman Reborn, where there was this huge fan base for it, that it's like, this culture that's over there that I know they exist, but I really don't understand anything that's going on. That's how I felt about the Hitman Reborn fan base. Except in this case, I did watch some of this. I watched, 7, 8 episodes, because folks loved this.
I watched like 2 or 3.
I dropped it because if someone said mommy bike again, I was going to fucking strangle someone. I got so tired of them saying mommy bike. Yeah. There's just something about that term that is so fucking obnoxious. I really wanted to punch someone out.
I feel like at the time anime fandom was primed for a big sports show.
Yeah.
And like this came along, it wasn't it, but people watched it because Haikyuu comes out a few seasons later. So.
Was this also production IG?
I think it was.
I think it was too.
Yes.
Anyway.
There's the sequel to Hajime no Ippo, speaking of sports shows, which I'm going to feel terrible that I still have never seen Hajime no Ippo.
It's okay. There's still time. They'll make more of it.
Will they? I thought it was over. I thought this was...
They'll make a reboot or something.
Oh, probably.
I mean, at this point, I'd be surprised.
I mean, it's one of the most highly regarded anime of all time.
Yeah, so they'll make a reboot. They'll make more of it.
So, here's one that I've actually read the manga for before it came out, like most of it as well, which was Arpeggio of Blue Steel.
Blue Submarine number 6, but with girls.
Yes.
No, it's not.
It's not. It is,
actually, they weren't both... Isn't it CG?
Yes.
So, see, it is Blue Submarine number 6.
And it's... Oh, that's the problem, because, like... I mean, I thought the manga was, like, decent. It's, like... It's anthropomorphized submarines, but, like, then in a very weird...
Told you it was Blue Submarine.
But with, like, this weird science fiction world where there's these giant scary battleships roaming the world, and they use these submarine girls to... Battleship girls, as they call it. Just, they stand on the... And they're very pretty, and they stand on the bow of the ship and go, like, shoot them motherfuckers down! It's alright. It's got a hell of an art style. Then the anime comes out, and it's CG animated, and it's just not quite there. It actually did really well in Japan.
It did, and I think it did decently in the West.
Yeah.
Again, I know it did well enough that the manga was picked up.
Yeah. But I think the manga was one of those ones that, like, people were asking to be...
maybe.
Yeah,
I don't know. Look, this was ages ago. I can't keep up. Oh,
God.
Coupelion, I really enjoyed the first episode of. The rest of it was terrible.
Aggressively stupid.
Yeah. Like, the thing that I really liked about the first episode... So this is one of those, like, this shit's anime. In that the premise is... Tokyo is this, like, fallout zone, basically, that no one can go into. But there are these 3 teen girls who can because they've been engineered to. I don't remember.
And they're wearing schoolgirl outfits.
Yep. And they're going into the exclusion zone. And the first episode I really enjoyed because it lets... You know that whole thing about show don't tell? Which I've noticed people getting like, oh, that was CIA propaganda in the creative arts. But...
what?
Folks, yeah. It was, but folks, I'm also just going to put this out there. It's also true, like 80% of the time. So, look, sometimes, you know the thing about broken clocks and being right twice a day? Yeah, just...
Okay, anyway, carry on.
It lets you, instead of, info dumping what this world is to you, it just shows the girls walking through this, messed up Tokyo where... There's grass everywhere, and at first, you don't know where they're walking if you hadn't read the plot description. And then, it shows a sign or something, you're like, holy shit, this is downtown Tokyo, and it's completely deserted and covered in trees and such. And so that episode, I thought, worked really well, and then in subsequent episodes, it just gets really melodramatic and artificial, and, a lot of people behaving in ways that don't really make sense. And
Yeah.
it's unfortunate because I really liked that first episode.
So one thing that is quite interesting about this is it was supposed to come out a few years earlier, but was pushed back due to the earthquake.
Yeah.
One of the only anime I know that was because it was set of like nuclear fallout Tokyo.
Yeah.
Hey, guess what has just happened in Tokyo?
Well, it didn't
Well, what happened in Tokyo? No, it
it happened in
didn't.
Tohoku.
Yes, but yeah. I think most of the rest of the things left from this season to talk about are just truly terrible things.
Yeah. Well, if we want to talk about things that there's initial bits of it that work really well, Diabolic Lovers.
Okay.
The first 11 minutes or so of this is pretty decent horror anime. This girl's going out to this mansion in the middle of nowhere to meet people who are supposed to be her new family or something, and she doesn't really know what's going on completely. She just knows that, well, this is what I'm going to have to do now. And she's looking out the window of a car and like, God, we're really far out here, you know, and then gets dropped off at this mansion. It's like, goodness, this thing is huge and there's no one around. And then going inside and there's no one inside. But then it gets into the meat of the story, which is terrible.
Which is rape fantasy?
It's just... Diabolic Lovers is an otome game, and it's... I mean, the heroine just gets abused through the whole thing. So, you know, one of the love interests just calls her Bitch-chan constantly.
And is wearing a fedora.
Yeah, and she gets thrown into the pool. She gets, you know, like strangled and slapped. And it's horrible.
Yep. And it's really, really popular in Japan.
Well, it was.
We still saw promotional material.
Oh yeah, we did see some stuff for.
Yes.
We were in Japan last November and December, and we did see some stuff for it.
So yeah. Then there was my mental choices are completely interfering with my something or other. I don't remember what the rest of it is.
With my life.
With my life. Anyway, which is the entire premise is there's a teenage boy who every now and then a big voice will come out from the sky saying, choose. Either put your underpants on your head or stick a banana up your butt. Or something, just like give him a stupid choice and he has to do one of them or else he will suffer crippling headaches. And that's the entire plot of the show. It's remarkable that this thing exists. That's all I have to say. And then there is...
I also want to point out, it probably has some of the worst character designs.
Oh, yes.
The female characters... Like, there's a lot of cleavage, and they look like toddlers. It's really creepy.
Yes.
Like, aggressively creepy.
And then there is...
Oh, other things that are one-note premises. Megane
Boo.
So, this comes from what was originally... I'm pretty sure these were drama CDs.
Yes.
And the whole thing is like, there's this club of teenage boys who wear glasses.
Here's the thing, and this has been annoying me ever since this thing came out.
Oh, God.
How do you do a drama CD based around boys who wear glasses?
I don't know, you have sound effects of the light glinting off their glasses. Anyway, there's another reason to mention this, though. This was Sobi Yamamoto. Mm-hmm. This was her directorial debut as a TV director. She had done those OVAs in the This Boy Can Talk to Aliens, This Boy has, met a mermaid. And this was what she was given for, here, demonstrate your chops. It's bad, but that's not really her fault, because the material is crap.
Yes.
And it's really, I find it such a drag that she's not been given a whack at any other TV, like, full-length material since. She did a short in, a few years ago, but that was the only other thing that and that's such a drag because she has a lot of talent and she does interesting things visually, but... And
this, considering this is the season that Rie Matsumoto got to do her colourful style with Kyousogiga.
Yeah.
This director gets...
This woman
gets Megane.
Yeah, it's terrible, but... Again, what were you going to do with that material? Yep. It wasn't good to begin with.
Yeah.
I think we've pretty much run through everything.
Yeah.
Well, we didn't mention Strike the Blood, but...
Yeah, which was very popular.
Wasn't that a light novel adaptation,
I think so. I don't think it's a manga.
No, you know what? It's definitely a light novel.
Okay.
I think it got a manga adaptation of the light novel, but because the light novels have been getting released in English.
Yes. It is a very, very popular light novel that I know nothing about. Oh no, I saw the first episode. I still know nothing about it.
It's very bland.
It's very, very, very bland.
It is. I mean, it's...
And very
what
popular.
If Shonen Jump title, kind of run-of-the-mill Shonen Jump title, but it's a light novel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's comparable to something like Shakugan no Shana, I think. Maybe.
A lot blander.
And that's saying something.
Also, though, we're talking about Shana from a vantage point of how old is it at this point?
Yeah, it says
so it's not really fair.
Anyway.
If Shana looks generic to us now, it's because a lot of the stuff that it did ended up being picked up by other things later on.
That is true. And that was this season.
Yeah, it's kind of a small season.
But there were some really notable things, though.
Yeah.
Yes.
This is probably... Thinking about it, because this was an autumn season, and those are usually pretty big. This was remarkably small for, in terms of what was worthwhile.
Granted, a lot of them was because we didn't watch a lot of them, but, you know.
I don't feel like I missed out by not watching all of Golden Time, for example, or Outbreak Company.
Or Diabolik Lovers. Anyway, we'll see you in 2014, everyone.
Yeah.
Alright, bye.